AI is just autocomplete on steroids. You know how your phone tries to complete sentences for you? It's just guessing what you want to say next, predicting the next word in the sentence. But how does it do that? A powerful AI, or an LLM, does the exact same thing, just on a much larger scale with much more information than just the sentence at hand. You can think of AI as a super autocomplete. It's essentially, in the background, a mathematical equation, guessing what the probability is of the next word in the sentence. Your phone learns from you, things that you type a lot, sentences, general sentences that are used most often, but AI is trained on the entire internet, or at least a subset of it. It's taken in Wikipedia articles, books, news articles, social posts, and from consuming all of that knowledge, it's not that AI has learned to think. It's not a brain, it doesn't have consciousness. But it has learned to predict what word is most likely to come next in the sentence following the context that you want it in. For example, associations are created. Think of a sentence that's commonly said. The sky is blue. They've probably scanned that on the internet millions of times. But how often do you think that it's scanned a sentence like, the sky is peanut butter? Maybe it has, but not nearly as often. So the probability that the next word in the sentence in the sky is blue, let's just throw an example, is 90% higher than the probability of that word being peanut butter. Essentially, it's just this on a massive, massive scale. And it's not a mind, it's a mimic. And that is why it is so important to understand the inputs that LLMs are taking, the weights that they are prescribing to these inputs.
I feel the need to pause and explain that this is the difference between open and closed source, and that's why open source is so important. If a model is not open and they don't release the base model, it is a black box. We have no idea what the inputs are and what weights are assigned to them, which will drastically change the answer and the way that the model acts and responds.
And the inference level and the temperature settings that are applied on the back ends of the models. When there's an announcement that says we've fine-tuned the model, they're changing the settings on the back end. That could be how probable the word association is. That could be how creative it's allowed to be. That means expanded probabilities, like there's a higher chance that the sky is peanut butter could appear, versus there's a lower chance that the sky is peanut butter could appear. Now you can sit there and say, why does this matter to me? It matters because I think it's important to understand the settings that go on in the back end. Changing these settings, even ever so slightly, and drastically change how the model is choosing what words come next, which will drastically impact the outputs that it gives. And when it's giving these outputs to the masses, it really matters what those controls are set to and who's controlling them at the end of the day.